Hello, my name is Nick Sanza, and this is my Clocktower fortress build. It is based on a fortress in Cuenca, Spain, which is, it was used during the Spanish Civil War as a fortress to host German volunteers during the war, and then it was later given to Germany as a part of goodwill between the two fascist nations right before World War II. It was used during the war of World War II, but not in a combat role. It was more of a political role as a sort of peacekeeping between the two countries.
Very cool. And now, what made you want to build this?
I saw it in a show, The Sound of the Sky. It was a show that highlighted the female roles that were in the fortress. They actually had female volunteers. They mostly did the cooking and cleaning, but they also did a few things such as policing the nearby village and helping with maintaining order, and definitely having a good female touch when a mostly male military base.
Now, it's a massive build. You have a lot of stuff going on. Where did you start when you set out to build it? Was there a specific component or a certain part of it that you began with?
I started with the fortress. I never actually planned to build the whole entire mountain and walls around it. But once I built the fortress, I said, heck, I have a lot of pieces left over. Let's try building it higher. And from there, it just kept going up.
That's awesome. And so what is it like to have that mentality, like to just to have something and to continue to add on to it? Do you do that a lot, or was this one of your first attempts to sort of add like this much scenery to a build?
This is definitely one of my first attempts to build something this large, but I always have had the mentality to keep adding to something. Like, I'll build a vehicle or a scene or something, and I'll keep changing it over and over until I finally feel that it's as best as it can possibly be.
I think it's very important to add as much landscape as possible to a build. Makes it much more oomph, I guess.
Definitely more oomph.
So now, could you take the time to point out some of your favorite parts of it? There's a lot of really nice techniques you're using, and some really cool design features. Run us through some of your favorite parts.
Definitely the bridge is one of my favorite parts. The bridge started out as an all stone with arches, but during a war during like 14 or 1500s, it was destroyed. But they had just recently started experimenting with cast iron, so they made the whole bridge cast iron and painted it red. And then it was later destroyed during the war again, hence why it's broken in this. But it was definitely fun to build with all the lattice work in red. And then also the cobblestoning on the courtyards was definitely something I've never tried before. I got actually inspired by last year's Vatican mock with all the little round tiles they did. But I couldn't quite use them loose because I was afraid they'd fall off the edge. So I put them all randomly on in a semi-dense pattern to simulate the randomness of cobblestoning.
It's very effective. Now, I see you have some interior courtyards there. Describe the design of those.
Those are with a lot of just tiles making the crossings, and it's the path actually goes all the way through to the all the doors on the inside. Doors don't open, sadly, but
it's all good.
And then there's a cobbling on most of the mini squares on the corners, except for the two on the left, which have the tree and the dirt plots, where I think they grew their food in there.
Very cool. Now, you have some wonderful vehicles with this build as well. I always think that vehicles are some of the hardest parts of a build. How did you tackle the vehicles in this build? You have some tanks. It looks like another one there too.
I used some previous vehicles I had, and I modified them to suit the time period, because the Panzer IV, as shown there, the larger tank, it was used throughout World War II, and it was experimentally made throughout the late Spanish Civil War, like at the time, like right after. But I had to change it so it was one of the earlier versions to fit the time setting. Same with the Panzer 38T. It's one of the earlier ones with the 20mm machine gun, not the larger guns that they had later. And then the truck is just a basic Porsche 108 Type 4 truck. It was used a lot during support roles and for utility purposes. And these were all my own design, but
awesome. Now, to kind of close us out here, let's go underground, figuratively, I suppose. You have some basement details here. What's going on down here?
Oh, the castle actually had its own vineyards and winery, and also one of the buildings one of the rooms is being used as a munitions depot for the soldiers. But the winery was one of my favorite parts because it had the stairs going down. I really liked incorporating that with all the barrels and all that stuff. It's pretty fun to do.
That's awesome. Nick, wonderful build. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
No problem.